Hello, I'm Aidan Bryan. I'm a lecturer at Belfast Met and I'm delighted to be chatting to people who have participated in the IT Apprenticeship programme. My guest today is Bronagh O'Reilly from Citi. Bronagh, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Bronagh, you've had a very interesting career. Maybe you'd like to tell us all about what you've been doing in the last 13 years or so.
Yes, thank you. I, for the last 13 years, have worked for the NHS as a residential worker before I moved to Citi in November as an apprentice developer.
13 years doing valuable work, absolutely essential work during pandemic. It's a big thing to change career, but to change career to IT, what led you along that path?
I think I always had an interest in IT. I studied it at GCSE and AS level. I think with the way that the world is moving right now, IT is the way forward, and to have a career in IT in Belfast, there's just so many opportunities at the minute, and I think that this was my time to move on. I think like the pandemic, that pushed me forward. That was my point to realise I needed a change, and IT was what I wanted to go to.
Of course, Bronagh, you're not just studying, you're balancing family commitments and work as well. Could you tell us what support is in place at Belfast Met for learners like you?
There is lots of support from all of the lecturers, even down to the admin staff. Every 3 weeks we have a review between Belfast Met and your employer, then mine's a Citi. You have several opportunities just to bring any issues towards them, and especially me having a family, they're very understanding and supportive of that, and realise that if there is maybe a time where I'm struggling or there's maybe just too much pressure with deadlines, they're very accommodating, to maybe push dates forward or back, whatever you need. So yeah, loads of support there.
And in the workplace, I mean, how do your colleagues and your managers support you?
Yes, the same thing really. We have catch-up meetings once a week with our manager. You have that formal setting to discuss anything or bring any issues, but there's always an opportunity to communicate and just bounce off each other, every day really. There's several opportunities.
Wonderful, and everyone is different. I wonder, you've taken this leap of faith after 13 years and you're meeting all the deadlines and doing so well. I'm so grateful to you for chatting to us. I wonder if you could go back and chat to your 18-year-old self, because you talked about studying IT at school, studying computers at school, and if we're talking to your 18-year-old self and talking about the difference between going to university or taking an IT apprenticeship, what advice would you give?
Well, I think if I had known back then that, an apprenticeship was an opportunity or an option, that I would just say to not stress about, being successful doesn't mean just going to university and getting the degree the kind of traditional way. I think with the apprenticeship, you gain so much hands-on experience, the opportunity to learn and earn at the same time, especially for me with a family, going to no salary just wasn't an option for me. So each person's circumstances obviously are very different. But I think with Citi, working alongside a team of really experienced and qualified people, that's invaluable, especially to an employer. After this course is done, 2.5 years later, I'm going to have that experience working with Citi on my resume, as opposed to someone maybe coming from university with no experience. So I definitely think that it just makes you more employable, and there's other routes other than university.
So much to offer, Bronagh. You've achieved so much and you're such an inspiration to those who will follow you here at the college. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Aidan Bryan and this is Belfast Met.